BioWare is boned. I have now had a second whistleblower reach out to me, not just confirming the initial report that I had talking about what a complete crap show it is over at BioWare right now, but also confirming what the person said to me and why they're concerned about that person's safety and well-being for a career there, because there's an ongoing investigation to try to find who these leakers are. Think about this for a second. BioWare, instead of taking accountability, realizing what they've done wrong and trying to fix it moving forward, have now trying to project their issues and try to find who these people are that are trying to call it out elsewhere because they're afraid for their job if it gets called out internally, because you're not allowed to be critical of any of the decisions at this company if you work there. It's crazy to me. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT, and a huge shout out to this very brave, now second whistleblower reaching out to me, trusting me in confidence that I'm not going to give any details away about their situation. They confided in me some very insane stories that they told me about what's happening right now as far as the investigations within BioWare and why the company itself is a complete disaster behind the scenes. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down this now second whistleblower that has reached out to me, confirming my initial report and also giving me some additional stories of what's transpiring now since I made that video from within BioWare and how it's all started to come crashing down. The individual who shared this information also spoke about the recent video that I talked about BioWare's internal challenges, and he expressed gratitude for the accuracy depicting the studio's current issues from an insider at BioWare. And while I cannot share the full specific details of the email from this person for obvious reasons, I want to give you guys the snippets that I could pull out that I feel like do not implicate this person whatsoever, but at the same time do still give you some sort of idea of what's going on behind the scenes at BioWare and why I feel like this is kind of a house of cards that's about to come crumbling down. The second whistleblower stated in his email to me, as someone working at, I'm blocking out the specific area, I can confirm that the issues you highlighted are widespread, and many studios are facing the same challenges. Unfortunately, it's not just BioWare that's dealing with pressure from certain vocal groups within the workplace. Your video hit the mark so well that it inadvertently shared details which could potentially identify the individual who provided you with the information. I want to stop there real quick and say I have confirmed with the initial whistleblower that I already know does work at BioWare. I've checked them out and I know who they are. That person told me that they're safe, everything's good, they appreciated my video, and they didn't have any concerns with what I divulged in that initial take. But even still, there are concerns moving forward that even if that person's cool with it and everything's fine, that BioWare might still try to find something in that email to flush this guy out. Because that's the current environment at BioWare. No one's safe. I've seen firsthand how, and he tells a brief story here, and he says the brief story that he referenced, which was up for only a few hours, even received support from some of the higher-ups in the LGBTQ plus community from within the company. So with this part of the email that he sent me, he gives me a story of what took place after I made that video internally at BioWare, where they were freaking out to the point of trying to find who this insider was that leaked it, which should tell you everything you need to know about how truthful everything I said was. Because let's be honest, if it was being made up or fabricated, don't you think BioWare wouldn't be worried about it? Or they'd come out with a statement being like, yeah, that's not true. We don't prioritize positions for the LGBTQ plus trans people. We don't use DEI here. We make sure we hire based off of merit. Yeah, the merit. That's what we do at BioWare. This leaker confirmed that the issues that I highlighted in the initial video are widespread across the companies under EA, with many studios facing similar pressures from vocal groups within the workplace. This now second whistleblower noted two main concerns with their lengthy email to me. The first one being that the video I made was so accurate that it could potentially have risked exposing the identity of the first whistleblower, which led to a very real-life situation where hostility came from the I'm not going to talk about the specific story there because it might give some information away, where some employees called for retribution against the original whistleblower. That's how these pack of groupthink weirdos approach life. Like, if you are not with them, they need to exterminate you from the company. Because, yeah, sure, diversity is great, as long as you don't have diversity of thought. And like I said, I spoke to that original whistleblower after publishing that initial video, and he put me at ease that no one there knows it was him, and at this time, he should be safe. But the reaction from the fallout of that video speaks volumes for the atmosphere at BioWare right now. They're far more concerned with silencing any kind of whistleblower than actually addressing the issues within the company. It reminds me so much of Firewalk Studios before that ultimately collapsed itself, when I had a whistleblower contact me directly from Firewalk and was like, here's everything that's happening. You have to address people by their preferred pronouns. You have to address people by the professor. You have to sit through these weirdo meetings with everyone that you don't ideologically agree with, but you still need to pretend you do or else you're out of the company. And all these other things that if you do not completely virtue signal and align with all of them, that not only will you be written up and brought to HR, but potentially being cut from the company completely because they don't care about actual real diversity. They want groupthink. They want a cult. And much like with Firewalk Studios, this is the same direction I see BioWare going right now. He then went in to highlight the broader issue of positive toxicity at BioWare, where raising any kind of legitimate concern has now led to fear of backlash and being labeled as negative or harmful. This kind of culture, as I've talked about plenty of times before, completely stifles any kind of open criticism, with hiring practices that are prioritizing diversity over talent and penalizing any kind of dissent. What kind of work environment is that? Who would want to work there unless you're a like-minded individual, someone who's a liberal white woman that is queer, like these other queer liberal white women working there that are trying to make sure they hold everyone else down or say things about other people to make them lose their job so that they can raise up into those positions themselves. The email goes on stating, the underlying problem, as I see it, stems from the growing corporate greed and the increasing influence of these activist groups. Their views are being pushed onto everyone, and dissent is often met with severe consequences. I am honestly concerned just writing this message, as it could jeopardize my position if it were to be traced back to me. That should tell you all you need to know about what's happening inside of BioWare right now, where there are now multiple whistleblowers that are reaching out to a YouTuber for help to get the word out there about just how bad it is there, because you can't speak up internally there because you will be shut down and not just lose your job, but the way the gaming industry works, as I've seen with the professional journos out there, is once you get on their blacklist, they will make sure you never get employed anywhere in the game industry. And that's just a little too toxic for my liking. It doesn't allow people to be creative or critical or unique or themselves. You have to fall in line, groupthink, and be part of this cult. And these people are, for the most part, not very talented individuals that are making sure they're doing everything they can to hold the talent down to keep these positions that they have that they should have never gotten in the first place. All of these internal conditions raise some serious questions about Dragon Age the Veilguard's trajectory. And BioWare's current struggles right now paint a much larger picture of the entire video game industry, grappling with ideological divides and growing corporate pressures. At its core, this is another really good reminder of the dangers of unchecked mob mentality and the harm that it does on the workplace culture, and why we need to continue to specifically highlight this stuff and call it out, as much as they might try to come for you and try to shut you down, take your paycheck away, go for your funding sources, try to silence you and shut you up any way they can. Keep speaking out. It's how change happens, because otherwise these are the same type of people that will destroy an entire industry, burn it to the ground, walk away from it, and go find a job somewhere else, not giving a shit about the games industry and what they did to it. And I'm here to do whatever I can to stop that. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article. I will link it in the description below. Huge shout out to this very brave whistleblower, now second one from BioWare, to reach out to me and let me know that what I said not only resonated, but is absolutely true, and backed it up with even more stories that proves to me that, yep, they're there, and it's definitely just as bad, if not worse, than I first thought. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
Gameplay in the franchise has been an evolution. Every single entry reimagines what combat is like.